Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, and the honestly apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect. All right, and I'm just come back with you with another lesson. All right, this is big major news. All right, so now it's to the point where ICE agents are openly just shooting people. All right, and the most fuck. It was just here. Oh, but yeah, it's on the news. All right, Vance. All right, the basically Trump's I want to say wingman. How do you call it? Not prime minister. Fuck. Is basically the second person that's like running the United States of America. But anyways, at the end of the day, these elites, they set up your world leaders. All right, at the end of the day, and really, these world leaders, your governments, your presidents, whatever. All right, they're just puppets at the end of the day. All right, the elites are the ones that are pulling the strings behind closed doors the entire time. But the scriptures, or you understand that in the scriptures it tells you that the heart of the king is in the Lord's hand. All right, he move whatsoever he will. All right, so basically at the end of the day, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua is in control. But nonetheless, all right, this is on the news. All right, you go ahead and look at it yourselves, but it's pretty straight to the point. All right, Vance calls Renee Good a deranged. You know what? Says ICE officer has absolute immunity, and there are many people. Trump's team. They're basically defending the individual that shot the woman. All right, and in the video, you can look at how the woman was trying to flee. She was causing no harm. She was making no threats at all. All right. But, the ICE agent, he went in and just shot her anyways. All right. And look what's happening right now. He gets to walk away from justice. All right. Esau is walking away from justice. But that lets you know that prophecy is being made manifested. All right. And people are looking at this video all disgusted because the man that shot this woman, all right, he gets to walk out free of charge, all right, free from justice. All right, and these these politicians, whatever, they're basically backing this ICE agent up. All right, they're basically having ICE's back. And not too long ago, there was a shooting in Portland. One died, one other injured. Portland ICE. Alright, so now it's being more common. God damn, what the fuck? Jake. But yeah, this was today. Alright, wait, no, this was yesterday, Slovakia. 2 shot in Portland, protests in Minneapolis over ICE shooting. Alright, and these people, all right, they're fed up now. All right, and in the scriptures it tells you that there should be uproars of the people. All right, because what? The wicked are in rulership. They're sending up these unrighteous decrees. All right, these unrighteous decrees that ultimately just oppress Jake. And what? Now Esau is using his sword, coming down, which he's about to really come down with great wrath upon you 2/3 of Israel at the end of the day. So now let's just go ahead and get the scriptures, right? Because hey, we're in the time of prophecy coming to pass, all right? But here's Matthew chapter 24, verse 6, and it says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." And what? You got Trump, all right, he just invaded Venezuela, All right, he's taking over Venezuela currently. All right, he's talking about taking over Greenland, taking over Mexico, Cuba, so on and so forth. All right, you know you got China. All right, they're about to invade Taiwan. All right, that's in the news. All right, just today, I believe that Russia just shot an ICBM over into Ukraine. All right, so yeah, the wars and rumors of wars are being made heard. All right, they say, "See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass." All right, but the end is not yet. It says verse 7: "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom." And that's right. That's their there's gonna be civil war. All right, race wars. All right, political division. The left wing, the right wing. All right, and you can see that it's happening like right now. The ICE agents shooting up people. All right, people are uproaring. All right, they're starting uproars. All right, people are out there protesting and shit. It says, "And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." We're seeing that too. All right, famines in diverse places. You got those people over there in Gaza starving. Soon, that's going to be over here in America too. All right, when the Civil War kicks off, all right, a lot of people are going to be starving to death over here. Cannibalism is coming back. All right, pestilences are going to be common. And you got earthquakes at an all-time high. They're occurring large and real common nowadays. All right, why? Because the Lord set it up to be that way, because it's according to prophecy. Verse 8: "All these things are the beginning of sorrows." And that's right, we're in the beginning of sorrows. All right. It says, "Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake." All right, and yeah, persecution is coming. All right, you look at Esau, what he's putting out there in the news. All right, he's making all these false flag attacks, and ultimately is trying to demonize the men of the Lord as a threat. All right, when really we're just out there in the highway and byway, just prophesying, the scriptures. All right, waking up our people, or reading them the scriptures. It says, it says, "Ye should be hated of all nations for my name's sake, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall arise, and shall deceive many." And hey, you see that at an all-time high. These different camps. All right, a lot of people are being deceived. All right, but hey, that's the lot that the Lord put them in. All right, the scriptures tell you that the deceiver and the deceived both fall into a ditch. See, Job 12:16. "With him is strength and wisdom, the deceived and the deceiver are his." All right, these false prophets, all right, they're just right in there a lot. All right, they're teaching damnable heresies. They're leading the sheep astray. All right, and not teaching the 100% truth. All right, but the only camp, all right, that's teaching the 100% truth is GMS. All right, it's down with the apostles and on down. It says, "And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." And that's what you're seeing on the earth today. The love of many is waxing even colder. People are financially struggling. All right, households are being split up. All right, there's division in America. But it says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And that's right. All right, those that endure unto the end shall be saved, and that's going to be the elect at the end of the day. All right, they're going to be the ones that are going to hold steadfast unto the faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai unto the end. All right, until we get beamed up in the chariots. All right, because that deliverance is coming. It's in the scriptures. All right. All right, in the scriptures it tells you that the Lord shall send his chariots, to gather his elect from the four winds of the earth, right, from the four corners of the earth. But mainly the deliverance is going to be here on Babylon the Great, before the nuclear missiles hit. All right, and yeah, this kingdom, all right, is it is preached all over. It's preached, on the four corners of the earth, right? A lot of our people know that they are Israelites, but they don't live the lifestyle of an Israelite. Right? But nonetheless, let's go ahead and go straight back over here. But yeah, you saw in the news, alright, J.D. Vance basically said that officer had immunity, alright? Even though he killed a woman, and the video is out there showing proof that the woman was just scared of her life. Right? She wanted to flee. She wanted to get out of there. And she was letting the ICE agents pass by. Well, yeah, the officer shot her anyways, and now she's dead. Alright? Well, here's the DOD Directive 5240.01. It says DOD intelligence and intelligence-related activities and defense intelligence component assistance to law enforcement agencies and other civil authorities. And this was passed, all right, since it was effective since September 27, 2024. All right, so not too long ago, literally, last year. But you go into the table of contacts, all right, it tells you all about it. You go into 3.3, it says levels of authority. I showed you this before, but yeah, brothers made videos on it, all right, and now we're to the point where there's about to be protests. There's about to be rioting, uproars of the people all over the United States of America, and it's gonna create more chaos. Because these people are seeing that people are getting shot up by ICE agents, all right, intentionally. That drives them mad. All right, so now they have a reason to uproar. But it's going to get real worse to the point where Esau now is going to have an excuse to declare martial law. All right, they have a reason to declare martial law, and that's basically what Esau wants to do. What it says here on 3.3 levels of authority, it says subject to paragraph, defense intelligence components may provide personnel to assist a federal department or agency, including a federal law enforcement agency or a state or local law enforcement agency, when lives are in danger, in response to a request for such assistance in accordance with the following approval authorities. Just go down to B. It says response to chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and high-yield explosive incidents. So yeah, something major is about to happen this year, right? Black Swan events are right around the corner. All right, it could be a new disease, which that's going out. The new flu that's going out. Could be a blackout. All right, whatever. The Black Swan events are basically coming this year. All right, and it's happening real fast. But it says assistance in responding with assets with potential or for lethality or any in which it is reasonable foreseeable that providing the request assistance may involve the use of force that is likely to result in lethal force, including death or serious bodily injury. All right. Basically, in the time of martial law, all right, they now have the authority to shoot down people, and I think they actually have authority to shoot down people right now. Cause this was effective since last year, September. All right, that's why they're shooting up people and getting away from it very easily. including where I live at, all right, straight down my block, they shot and killed an immigrant not too long ago in September of this year. And what, that ICE agent, all right, no justice was brought against him at all. All right, he wasn't, he basically walked away free of charge. All right. After that immigrant, or that immigrant, which he had a daughter, all right, got killed. That dad just got killed, and what now? That daughter of his has no dad or mother. All right. But hey, we're coming into the time of Jacob's trouble. All right. You're seeing the beginning stages of civil war. It also includes all support to civilian law enforcement officials in situations where a confrontation between civilian law enforcement and civilian individuals or groups is reasonably anticipated. Such of force must be in accordance with DOD 5210.56, potentially as further restricted based upon specifics of the requested support. But yeah, this is we're coming to a draconian era, right? These people are beginning to not regard the kings nor princes. Shall not regard their kings nor princes. Alright, you're seeing that pushback, right? And you're gonna be seeing more of it because what? These agents are basically openly shooting people now. Alright? And people see that. But it says in 2nd Esdras 15 verse, I'm gonna start with I'm gonna start with 14. It says, woe to the world and that dwell therein, for the destruction for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Yeah, you're seeing the beginning stages of civil war. All right, this is going to be common. All right, people are going to be shooting each other out here in the streets of America. All right, America is basically one huge war zone. All right, this place is about to be one huge war zone. It says, from there shall be sedition among men and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Right? Sedition among men, right? Invading one another. Not going to be listening to their governors, not going to be listening to their law enforcement, all right? Because what? In the time of trouble, these people are going to be scavenging for food, all right? These people are going to be in full-on panic mode. They're not going to know what to do, all right? They're going to be grouping up with gangs and shit like that, creating factions, whatever, all right? Marauders, such as and so forth. All right, you look for an example. You watch the movie The Last of Us. Right, there's all kinds of factions. That's how it's gonna be out here in America. All right, because what, society is collapsing and shit. It says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, and that's right. Martial law is going to be declared. All right, they're gonna set up checkpoints. All right. But because of the pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And that's right. Because of the pride, the city shall be troubled. Our people are too prideful. Or our people are wicked. All right. And hey, the Lord has to put them down. The Lord has to, literally have to destroy them because what? They're not right in their mind. All right. But yeah, this is what we're about to see. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread for great tribulation. They all said, "The Lord, I will call together all the kings of the." So like that was it to that point, but you know, there's gonna be famine. All right, people spoiling each other. All right, with the sword. All right, breaching into each other's homes. Right, killing one another. You name it. All right. You know, we're looking at the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble. All right, we're already in Jacob's trouble, all right, but it hasn't reached to its peak just yet. But we're getting there, all right. And it's only going to get worse. But with that, hope this is someone is edifying. We give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, and Shalom.